Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Be sure to subscribe to our channel. We publish new videos every day. Don't forget, grab your smartphone and download the Lava Matra app and stay in touch. Guru Maharaj's message is your advantage. The following is a Sri Krishna Caitanya book compilation given by His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj on December 19th, 2022 in Śrī Māyāpur, India.
Pangun Langai Tegirim Sri Gurum Dhinatharinam Sri Caitanya Mishwaram.
Hari Om Tat Sat.
Hari Om Tat Sat.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, happy Ekadasi. Today we will continue with the compilation of the Sri Krishna Caitanya book. Today's chapter is entitled Affectionately Raghunātha becomes Raghu of Svarūpa Dāmodara. Under the section, the meeting of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu and Raghunath Das Goswami, Sri Caitanya Charitamrita Antelila 6.184.
প্রভু প্রেমে আত্মহারা রঘুনাথের প্রভু চরণ লাভার্থ পুরী গমন, পথে সুতীব্র দৈহিক ক্লেশ সহিষ্ণুতা। যথা রঘুনাথ দাস প্রভাতে উঠিয়া পূর্ব মুখ ছাড়িয়া দক্ষিণ মুখ হইয়া।
Raghunath Das, who had been resting at the milkman's house, got up early in the morning. Instead of going to the east, he turned his face south and proceeded.
Since Jagannath to the south,
Since Jagannath Puri is to the south,
but Raghunath Das went first to the east
but Raghunath Das went first to the east
to avoid his father's security detail.
to avoid his father's security details.
Now, after going to the east, he'll go to the south,
So now he had gone to the east, now he'll go to the south,
heading toward Jagannath Puri.
heading towards Jagannath Puri. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Antelila 6.185.
ছত্রভোগ পার হইয়া ছাড়িয়া সরান, কুগ্রাম দিয়া দিয়া করিল প্রয়াণ।
He crossed Chhatrabhoga, but instead of going on the general path, he proceeded on the path that went from village to village. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Chhatrabhoga, known as Chadakadhi, is in the district of 24 Parganas in West Bengal. It is situated near the celebrated village Jayanagara Majilapur. Formerly, the Ganges or some of its branches flowed through this region. Sometimes Chhatrabhog is misunderstood to have been a village on the river Kansai Nadi in Benapola.
Jayapataka is famous for having a koi moss
Vijayanagar is famous for having koi muas
made with date gore.
made with date gourd.
And people enjoy having this sweet.
And people enjoy having this sweet. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Antyalila 6.186.
বক্ষণ অপেক্ষা নাহি সমস্ত দিবস গমন, ক্ষুধা নাহি ভাদে চৈতন্য চরণ প্রাপ্তে মন।
Not caring about eating, He travelled all day. Hunger was not an impediment, for his mind was concentrated upon obtaining shelter at the lotus feet of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu.
Raghunath Das had been trying to take the shelter of Lord Caitanya
Raghunath Das had been trying to take the shelter of the lotus feet of Lord Caitanya
for many years.
And
now he was making his special attempt.
Now he is making his special attempt,
Getting the mercy of Lord Nityananda and Vaishnavas.
getting the mercy of Lord Nityananda and the Vaishnavas. Śrī Caitanya Charitamrita Antelila 6.187.
কবু চর্বণ কবু রন্ধন কবু দুগ্ধপান যবে যেই মিলে তাহে রাখে নিজ প্রাণ
Sometimes he chewed fried grains, sometimes he cooked, and sometimes he drank milk. In this way he kept his life and soul together with whatever was available wherever he went.
Somehow keeping the body and soul together,
So somehow keeping the body and soul together,
he was just taking everything available.
he was taking anything available.
But this shows how a devotee was fixed on Kṛṣṇa
He was a devotee who was fixed on Kṛṣṇa,
can survive very little.
can survive in very little. Śrī Caitanya Charitamrita Antelila 6.188.
ভারদিনে পুরী গমন পথে 3 দিন মাত্র অন্ন গ্রহণ 12 দিনে চলি গেলা শ্রী পুরুষোত্তম পথে 3 দিন মাত্র করিলা ভোজন
He reached Jagannath Puri in 12 days but could eat only for 3 days on the way.
Normally, Bengal devotees on the Jagannath Puri would take a month.
Normally, when the Bengal devotees went to Jagannath Puri, it would take a month.
Instead, he reached Jagannath Puri in 12 days.
It is said here he reached Jagannath Puri in 12 days.
Practically, he was running.
Practically, he was running.
And on the 12 days, he only ate for 3 days.
And in the 12 days, he only ate for 3 days.
And one out of every 4 days.
One of every 4 days. Śrī Caitanya Charitamrita Antelila 6.189.
স্বরূপাদি সহ উপবিষ্ট প্রভুর সমীপে আসিয়া রঘুনাথের দণ্ডবৎ প্রণাম মুকুন্দের তৎপরিচয় প্রদান স্বরূপাদি সহ গোসাই আছেন বসিয়া হেন কালে রঘুনাথ মিলিল আসিয়া
When Raghunath Das met Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu, the Lord was sitting with his companions, headed by Svarūpa Dāmodara.
Raghunath Das Goswami
Raghunath Das Goswami
had just reached Jagannath Puri,
has just reached Jagannath Puri,
and he immediately paid his prostrate obeisances to Lord Caitanya and his associates.
He immediately paid his prostrate obeisances to Lord Caitanya and his associates. Śrī Caitanya Charitamrita Antelila 6.190.
অঙ্গনেতে দূরে রহি করেন প্রণিপাত মুকুন্দ দত্ত কহে আইল রঘুনাথ
Staying at a distant place in the courtyard, he fell down to offer obeisances. Then Mukunda Datta said, "Here is Raghunath."
Raghunath Das was well known to the devotees.
So Raghunath Das was well known to the devotees.
He was very committed to serving Lord Caitanya.
He was very committed to serving Lord Caitanya.
So that newly Mukundadatta could recognize it.
So immediately Mukunda Datta could recognize him. Śrī Caitanya Charitamrita Antyalila 6.191.
প্রভুর চরণ বন্ধন প্রভুর আলিঙ্গন প্রভু কহেন আইস তেহ ধরিলা চরণ উঠি প্রভু কৃপায় তারে কইলা আলিঙ্গন
As soon as Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu heard these words, he immediately welcomed Raghunath Das. Come here, he said. Raghunath Das then clasped the lotus feet of the Lord, but the Lord stood up and embraced him out of his causeless mercy.
So Raghunath Das had an ear to get the shelter of Lord Chaitanya's lotus feet.
So Raghunath Das came here to get the shelter of Lord Chaitanya's lotus feet.
But he had seen Lord Chaitanya in Shantipur.
But he had seen Lord Chaitanya in Shantipur.
Lord Chaitanya told him not to be a Markat Vairagya
So Lord Chaitanya told him not to be a Markata Vairagya
and to stay in his Grihastha ashram.
and to stay in his Grihastha ashram.
But here you see that when he reached Jagannath Puri,
But here we see when he reached Jagannath Puri,
the all-knowing Lord Chaitanya
the all-knowing Lord Chaitanya
accepted him and embraced him.
accepted him and embraced him. Śrī Caitanya Charitamrita Antyalila 6.192.
স্বরূপাদি ভক্তগণকে প্রণাম সকলের আলিঙ্গন স্বরূপাদি সব ভক্তের চরণ বন্দিলা প্রভু কৃপা দেখি সবে আলিঙ্গন কইলা
Raghunath Das offered prayers at the lotus feet of all the devotees headed by Svarūpa Dāmodara Goswami. Seeing the special mercy Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu has bestowed upon Raghunath Das, they embraced him also.
All the great devotees
All the great devotees
who had descended from the spiritual world to help Lord Chaitanya in his pastimes,
who has descended from the spiritual world to help Lord Chaitanya in his pastimes,
they embraced Raghunath Das.
they embraced Raghunath Das. Śrī Caitanya Charitamrita Antyalila 6.193.
নিত্য সিদ্ধ রঘুনাথের গৃহত্যাগ উপলক্ষে অনর্থযুক্ত ভক্তি সাধককে শিক্ষাদান প্রভুর কৃষ্ণ কৃপা মাহাত্ম্য বর্ণন প্রভু কহে কৃষ্ণ কৃপা বলিষ্ঠ সভা হইতে তোমার কারিল বিষয় বিষ্ঠা গর্ত হইতে
Lord Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu said, "The mercy of Lord Kṛṣṇa is stronger than anything else. Therefore the Lord has delivered you from the ditch of materialistic life, which is like a hole into which people pass stool." Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. According to the law of karma, everyone is destined to suffer or enjoy according to their certain material standard. But the mercy of Lord Kṛṣṇa is so powerful that the Lord can change all reactions of one's past karma or fruitive activities. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu specifically drew attention to the mercy of Lord Kṛṣṇa. That mercy is more powerful than anything else, for it had saved Raghunath Das from the strong bondage of materialistic life, which the Lord compared to a hole where people pass stool. Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu gave his verdict that those addicted to the materialistic way of life are like worms that are living in stool that cannot be cannot give it up. A Grihavrata, one who has decided to live in a comfortable home, although it is actually miserable, is in a condemned position. Only the mercy of Kṛṣṇa can save one from such misery. Without Kṛṣṇa's mercy, one cannot get out of the filthy entanglement of materialistic life. The poor living entity cannot give up his materialistic position on his own. Only when granted the special mercy of Kṛṣṇa can he give it up. Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu knew very well that Raghunath Das was already liberated. Nevertheless, he emphasized that Raghunath Das's life of material comfort as a very rich man's son with a beautiful wife and many servants to attend him was like a ditch of stool. The Lord thus specifically indicated that ordinary men who are very happy with material comforts and family life are no better position than worms in stool.
Lord Caitanya had followers both renounced order and grihastas.
So Lord Caitanya had followers both renounced order and grihastas.
If one is happy with materialistic life,
If one is happy with materialistic life,
then they are forced to take repeated birth after birth after birth.
then they are forced to take repeated birth after birth after birth,
Because their desires will be in that way.
because their desires would be in that way.
But if a person, whether renounced or family man,
But if a person, whether renounced or family man,
if he is very Krishna conscious,
if he is very Krishna conscious,
if he's really trying to serve Krishna,
if he is really trying to serve Krishna,
then he can be saved from this. He's not in the same situation as a materialistic person.
he is not in the same situation as the materialistic person.
So Raghunath Das, he especially went to join the associates of Lord Caitanya.
So Raghunath Das especially went to join the associates of Lord Caitanya,
And he became one of the 6 Goswamis.
and he became one of the 6 Goswamis.
So naturally, when he was showing that his former family was extremely rich,
He was showing his former family was extremely rich.
he had all material facilities,
He had all material facilities,
but he didn't consider it at all.
but he didn't consider it at all.
Normally people, they're hoping for richness, prosperity, etc.
Normally people, they are hoping for richness, prosperity, etc.,
They can have a very high standard of sense gratification.
so that they can have very high standard of sense gratification.
So that Lord Caitanya was demonstrating to Raghunath Das.
So Lord Caitanya was demonstrating through Raghunath Das
how one can be satisfied only by devotional service.
how that one can be satisfied only by devotional service. Śrī Caitanya Charitamrita Antya Leela 6.194.
রঘুনাথের ঐকান্তিকী গৌর কৃষ্ণ নিষ্ঠা। রঘুনাথ মনে কহে কৃষ্ণ নাহি জানি, তব কৃপা কারিল আমা এ আমি মানি।
Raghunath Das answered within his mind, I do not know who Kṛṣṇa is. I simply know that your mercy, O my Lord, has saved me from my family life.
Lord Caitanya was acting as Mahaprabhu, a great spiritual master.
Lord Chaitanya was acting as Mahaprabhu, the great spiritual master.
Raghunath Das was grateful that love how Lord Chaitanya saved him from a materialistic way of life. Raghunath Das was grateful
So Raghunath Das was grateful
that Lord Chaitanya had saved him.
that Lord Chaitanya has saved him from materialistic life. Śrī Caitanya Charitamrita Antya Leela 6.195
প্রভু কর্তৃক হিরণ্য ও গোবর্ধনের চরিত বর্ণন। প্রভু কহেন তোমার পিতা জ্যাঠা দুইজনে চক্রবর্তী সম্বন্ধে আমা আজা করি মানে।
The Lord continued, your father and his elder brother are both related as brothers to my grandfather Nilambar Chakravarti. Therefore, I consider them my grandfathers. Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada. Nilambar Chakravarti, the grandfather of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu, was very intimately related to Raghunath Das's father and uncle. Nilambar Chakravarti used to call them his younger brothers because both of them were very much devoted to the Brahmanas and were very respectable gentlemen. Similarly, they used to call him as Dada Chakravarti, addressing him as an elder brother Brahmana. Raghunath Das, however, was almost the same age as Lord Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Generally, a grandchild may joke about his grandfather. Therefore, Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu took advantage of the relationship between his grandfather and Raghunath Das's father and uncle to speak in a joking way.
So, Lord Chaitanya mentioned this relationship
So Lord Chaitanya mentioned this relationship
so that he could tell some joke.
Śrī Caitanya Charitamrita Antya Leela 6.196
চক্রবর্তীর দোহে হয় ভাতৃরূপ দাস, অতএব তারে আমি করি পরিহাস।
Since your father and his elder brother are younger brothers of Nilambar Chakravarti, I may joke about them in this way. Śrī Caitanya Charitamrita Antya Leela 6.197
বিষয় বিষ সেবন আত্মসংহারক অর্থাৎ জীবের স্বরূপ বা স্বাস্থ্য লাভের ভীষণ বিঘ্ন স্বরূপ। তোমার বাপ জ্যাঠা বিষয় বিষ্টা গর্থের তিকিরা, সুখ করি মানে বিষয় বিষের মহাপীরা।
My dear Raghunath Das, your father and his elder brother are just like worms in stool in the ditch of material enjoyments. For the great disease of the position of material poison of material enjoyment is what they consider happiness. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, when a man is attached to material enjoyment, he is attached to many miserable conditions, but nevertheless he accepts his condemned position as one of happiness. Sense enjoyment is so strong for such a person that he cannot give it up, exactly as a worm in stool. Worm in stool cannot give up the stool. From the spiritual point of view, when a person is too absorbed in material enjoyment, he is exactly like worm in stool. Although such a position is utterly miserable to the eyes of liberated souls, the materialistic enjoyer is greatly attached to it. In the Srimad Bhagavatam,
the history of Ajamil began in the 6th canto.
The history of Ajamil is given in the 6th canto.
Although he was born in a respectable Brahmin family,
Although he was born in a respectable Brahmin family,
he he fell down and did many sinful things.
He fell down and did many sinful things.
But somehow he named his son as Narayana
But somehow he named his son as Narayana.
by calling his son, and even at the time of death, calling out Narayana, he freed of all his sinful reactions.
By calling his son, even at the time of death, he was calling his son Narayana, he was freed from his sinful reactions.
The Lord is so merciful that one even accidentally does some devotional service.
The Lord is very merciful. Even if one accidentally does some devotional service,
He is received the Lord's mercy and is free.
he receives the Lord's mercy and is freed.
So, well, then he could realize all the sins he was doing
Then he could realize that all the sins he was doing
and all the bad karma,
and all the bad karma,
that's why he changes, he regretted everything.
and he changed and he regretted for everything.
And, people somehow think that material comfort is the goal of life.
People somehow they think that material comfort is the goal of life.
Yesterday, Argentina won the World Cup.
Yesterday, Argentina won the World Cup.
Immediately they think how the material world is a good place.
Immediately they think how the material world is a good place.
So they want a competition.
So they want a competition. They want the competition.
This is how Maya deludes us.
This is how Maya deludes us.
Jai Guru Maharaj.
Śrī Caitanya Charitamrita Antya Leela 6.198. Sevasarupa's daughter is
ভোক্তা অভিমানে বা দেহাত্ম বুদ্ধিতে অন্য অভিলাষ কর্ম ও জ্ঞান মিশ্র, অথচ অপ্রতিকূল বিষ্ণু বৈষ্ণব অনুগত আভাস বা লৌকিকী শ্রদ্ধা শুদ্ধ ভক্তি নহে, কনিষ্ঠ অধিকার মাত্র। যদ্যপি ব্রাহ্মণ্য করে ব্রাহ্মণের সহায়, শুদ্ধ বৈষ্ণব নহে বৈষ্ণবেরও প্রায়।
Although your father and uncle are charitable to the Brahmanas and greatly help them, they are nevertheless not pure Vaishnavas. However, they are almost like Vaishnavas. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, as stated by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his Amrita Pravaha Bhashya, some people, usually very rich men, dress like Vaishnava and give charity to the Brahmanas. They are also attached to deity worship, but because of their attachment to material enjoyment, they cannot be pure Vaishnavas. Anya vilashita sunyam jnana karma dhyanavritam. The pure Vaishnava has no desire for material enjoyment. That is the basic qualification of a pure Vaishnava. There are men, especially rich in the deity, give charity to Brahmanas and are pious in every respect, but they cannot be pure Vaishnavas. Despite their outward show of Vaishnavism and charity, their inner desire is to enjoy a higher standard of material life. Higher standard of material life. Raghunath Dasa's father Govardhana and uncle Hiranyadasa were both very charitable to Brahmanas. Indeed, the Brahmanas from the Gaudiya district were practically dependent upon them. Thus, they were accepted as very pious gentlemen. However, they presented themselves as Vaishnavas to the eyes of people in general, although from a purely spiritual point of view, they were ordinary human beings, not pure Vaishnavas. Actual Vaishnavas considered them almost Vaishnavas, not pure Vaishnavas. In other words, they were Kanishta Adhikaris. for they were ignorant of higher Vaishnava regulative principle. Nevertheless, they could not be called Vishayis or blind materialistic enjoyers.
So, since they were very attached
to material enjoyment,
Lord Chaitanya called them Vaishnava Prai.
Lord Chaitanya called them Vaishnava Prai, almost Vaishnavas.
Normally a Vaishnava, he would want his child to be a pure Vaishnava.
Normally a Vaishnava, he wants his child to be a pure Vaishnava.
And although Raghunath wanted to join Lord Chaitanya and be a pure Vaishnava,
Although Raghunath Das wanted to join Lord Chaitanya and be a pure Vaishnava,
his parents would not allow him.
but his parents were not allowing him
And arresting him, bringing him back.
and were arresting him and bringing him back.
So, in this way, instead of facilitating their son,
So in this way, instead of facilitating their son
get the mercy of Lord Chaitanya,
to get the mercy of Lord Chaitanya,
they were an obstacle.
they were an obstacle.
And because their point of view was somehow material comfort is the whole life.
Because their point of view was somehow material comfort is the goal of life. Thus ends the part 1 of the chapter entitled Affectionately Raghunātha becomes Raghu of Svarūpa Dāmodara. Under the section, the meeting of Lord Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu and Raghunath Das Goswami.
Thank you for watching our videos. Be sure to subscribe to our channel. We publish new videos every day, and don't forget to like and share our channel.